What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome to episode 83.
Whoa.
83. Oh my God, that is like 82 more than one.
That's some math right there.
How was your holiday?
Uh, I didn't do anything.
You sat around in sadness for like 2 years and like covered yourself in like mashed. You're like, I'm so sad. I'm gonna cover myself in mashed potatoes, but like the gluten-free ones.
Mashed potatoes are gluten free.
Oh, see?
well, well, I went to my friend's house and we ate Chinese food and watched a football game, and that
So you
was.
had Friendsgiving.
But it was just one friend.
Was it
No,
wasn't a musician?
no.
Dude, it's been like 3 weeks since I've talked to you.
I
So
know.
I have predictions. You either
Yeah.
got married, you guys are the exact same, or you don't talk anymore, but you talk and you're sad because you don't talk, or you're happy because you talk more, but you don't talk like enough more.
No, things are good.
What does that mean?
Well, I guess like some developments happened within the last month.
Okay.
Um,
Give me a few developments.
Well, we like actually had a talk about like what was going on.
What are we?
It wasn't like that though. I basically was like, I'm not trying to say we need to say anything right now, but like we both agreed we like where it's going and like it could and potentially will go somewhere. But we're not trying to rush into anything because I was like, I've been burned in my past from getting into things too fast. So yeah.
Are you exclusive with this dude?
Well, you see, I
Oh,
could have opened the door for that conversation as well, but there was just a lot going on in the conversation already. But I'm also like have been spending a lot of time with this person that I'm like, I don't know when there would be any other time for
right.
either of us to do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a conversation to be had when he gets back home because he's gone for a while.
Is he on tour?
No, he's just visiting family.
No, I would that
Yeah.
would have said tour. When you like, have you ever had a situation where? And I apologize because I'm sure I've used this joke before. But have you ever had a situation where you're on the phone with him or you're FaceTiming and he's like, "I'm in the studio," and you assume that he's recording, but he's actually in his studio apartment, so he's not technically lying.
No.
No, that's never happened.
No.
All right, that's fair. Okay, so all right, so you've been doing that. Have you been Barney'sing it?
Yeah, a little bit here and there, not like, well, I was gonna say not as much, but then again, like my friends and I will sometimes go on like the really dead nights because we're just like bored and we're like, what else do we have to do? Like, oh my God, we went on Monday night and we met this woman who's texting me. Sorry, nobody's texting me. I love that. Okay, so we met this woman who has one arm,
Mhm.
and she was like so clearly drunk, and she just like for some reason latched on to my group of friends. Mind you, this woman is like definitely like mid 40s and just is
Mm.
latching onto my group of like 21-year-old friends, and and she was like hilarious. We were like, "Do you do stand up?" Like she was so funny, but also like quite obnoxious at the same time. But it was so just it was too funny that we didn't care. Anyways, yeah, she just kept rapping and telling jokes and talking about her one arm, and it was quite interesting. Quite an interesting night.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. Some people listening would have hoped that that story was going somewhere, but I mean, why start now? Let's keep 83 consistent with the first 82. Uh,
Well,
you
I
you literally just did knock knock, and you were like, yeah, I don't want to get it. You literally that's what you just did. You're like, I don't know. I don't
but
know.
like I can't remember specifically anything crazy that happened besides her just rapping
Hmm.
and telling jokes. What she joked about, I don't know. Well, she was joking a bunch about how she was like sometimes like people ask me if I'm straight or lesbian, and she's like, I'm obviously straight because she's like people assume that I couldn't be lesbian because I only have one hand. And then she's like, but do you see this nub? She's like, could get all up in there, and we're like, oh my God.
That's fantastic. And what's her phone number? I can get all up. I mean, if you don't listen, I know at some point you're going to create an album, and at some point you're going to have many songs. And you've released a few new ones, right? Or one new one,
Just one new one.
and you like it.
Yeah, I love it.
Where do people hear it?
Anywhere, any streaming service.
What's it called? What's it named under?
It's
Try, Hannah. Try.
It's called Go to Hell for You.
Go to hell for you.
Go to Hell 444 You.
Okay.
It's obviously by me, Little Hannah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote that song like over a year ago, and I kind of thought it was the worst thing I had ever made. And then I went back and re-listened to it maybe like a week after I made it, and I was like, wait, I did something here. And then I finished at the beginning of this year, and then it was just taking forever to put it out because I was just going through a lot of things earlier this year. I also felt like I couldn't put it out until I was done with Purse Stumper.
Mm-hmm.
So once like that situation was finally wiped my hands cleaned of that, I was like, okay, I could finally put the song out. But I need to film some content for it because I just have nothing to promote it with right now, which is like the bane of my existence. But
So you want to do a video for it?
I mean, I'm not necessarily even looking to do like a full music video. I just need to film like random things and just get the ball rolling with like, hey, I have a song out, go listen to it.
Oh, sort of like the clips that we sent out with this
Yeah.
pod. Clips like.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you get your Spotify Wrapped back?
Yeah.
And what I want to hear, what is it? What are your songs?
My top artist is Billie Eilish.
Okay.
Somehow, I actually don't know how this happened because I don't listen to Taylor Swift, but she was somehow my top 2 artists. And I was like, maybe because I listened to her album when her album came out this year, but I was like, I literally don't listen to Taylor, but I digress. My 3rd artist was Fred again. Will not name my 4th artist.
Because your 4th artist is Boyfriend? No, don't call him that. God, no. It was that Irish band. What are they called? The ice cream.
Thunder.
I was going to call them the Icicles. So Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, and Fred again trampled the guy you're dating. He was number 4.
Well, I mean, there was a whole year basically before this started happening.
Sure.
And then
That's
my 5th
fair.
artist was, I don't remember actually. Who was it? I took a screenshot. Nope, those are of pictures, Hannah. Okay, wait, no, I'm like really curious. Oh, it's gonna take me through this whole thing.
So wait, who was the 4th one again?
No, we're not saying.
Damn it, I was so close. There was a part of you that almost just said it.
Oh, my 5th artist was Charlie XCX.
Oh, that's cool. Did you see the Mean Cute video on SNL?
Yes. I thought that was funny.
It was very funny. All right, so my top 5 artists were oh gosh, what are they called? Fantastic Cat.
Okay.
Huh? Ryan Adams.
Okay.
I had the same 3rd artist as you did the 4th artist. I did. And then Counting Crows and Jessica Lee Mayfield, my friend Jessica.
Yeah.
I'm performing with her on the 11th at Gold Diggers, everybody, in Los Angeles. I get to introduce her and do one song with her. It's very exciting. Hell yeah. I'm very excited. Do you have any shows coming up?
No. I need to just create all new music because I think I finally figured out like what sound and direction I want to go in after like this whole last year of being like, I want to do this, no, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that. Like for a hot second, I was like, I think I'm becoming like the next Gracie Abrams. I am soft, sad girl. But now I'm kind of like, no, I don't know that's actually the direction I want to go in. So
Hard, happy girl.
Sure. I don't know what I would call it. I would say I kind of want to step away a little bit from going like as punk rock as I used to be going.
Mm-hmm.
Like I still want to keep some of those elements, but almost go more in like a darker, like alt pop, hyper pop, edgier route.
Okay, that's
Which is what
cool.
I originally started out doing when I first started making music, and it somehow diverted into everything. But then again, I do still like indie rock, so I don't know. There's a lot of things I do want to incorporate, but I think I know where more so I feel like I'm headed, and I need to just create an entire new discography.
Okay, well that's good. It's all about creating, and it's all
Yeah,
about like whatever. It's not all about whatever. It's all about creating and moving forward. And I mean, eventually you find yourself, and it's rare that we decide what we're going to do, and we actually end up doing that. Everything pivots into something else.
yeah.
All right, I came up with a couple of topics
Okay,
for us today to just
hit me.
okay, and just ask me back as well, and make it interactive. So these are two questions.
Okay,
So I'll ask you, and then you ask me.
okay.
All right. What is the pettiest grudge you've ever held?
Pettiest grudge. Ooh. Um, one thing I can think back to is maybe in high school, I was upset that my friends uh I I don't remember if my friends didn't invite me out. Something happened where I was mad at my friends, and instead of me being like, I don't know, a proper like 17, 18-year-old, although at the time, whatever, that's still bratty teenager. I digress. I decided to ignore my friends all day and not say a single word to anyone if they tried to speak to me. And I remember I was like at the lunch table and I just like put my head down at the lunch table while everyone was like, dude, like, is she okay? And I just would like, I would like kind of like look around and like wouldn't make eye contact with anybody, wouldn't speak to anybody. And everybody was like, bro, this chick's crazy. Um, and I
That's,
think it was because my friends didn't invite me somewhere, but
how long did you hold the grudge?
for a little bit. Yeah.
So
Well,
one time in high school, someone did invite you, and you held a grudge for weeks.
yeah. Well, honestly, that was kind of the catalyst to me cutting off all my friends in high school. So,
Okay, it's a little extreme.
so maybe I'm still holding on to it.
Okay, I get that. That makes sense.
What about you? What was your pettiest grudge?
So we have an upstairs neighbor,
Hmm.
and upstairs neighbors, and they're Buddhist, and I don't have a problem with any other
Above you right
religion.
now.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have the apartment above our apartment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he is he's a sushi chef at some fancy restaurant in LA, and
Hmm.
she's a singer. And on the
Okay.
surface, they're very nice people. Like you
Yeah.
talk to them and they're very friendly. But he's always like sharpening knives in the laundry room, like where you're like, what? Like you go to do your laundry and he's like literally sharpening knives. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna come back later. And they're always chanting. They're always chanting, like they're Buddhist chanting constantly. And it's like for fucking 45 minutes to an hour. And it always sounds like, hey, how are ya? Hey, how are ya? Hey, how are ya? Like for 45 minutes. And it's just like, you can just hear like the humming of it. You're like, okay, that's fine, whatever. So about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, I'm pulling into my parking space and she parks next to me. She has
Hmm.
a smaller car. Her car is parked so close over, and I have a cement wall by my space.
Yeah.
And I had to maneuver my vehicle so I wouldn't hit her car. And I think I'm a
Yeah.
pretty good driver, but the choice was hit her car or like nick mine. And I nicked mine because I wasn't
Yeah.
going to hit her car. So I write a letter. This is my old car, so it doesn't bother me anymore. I write a nice letter to her. I'm like, hey, text doesn't reflect tone. I'm not upset, but I see that you've got about 5 feet to the right of you. You're parked very close to this side. If you wouldn't mind in the future parking more to the right, I kind of nicked my car. Shit happens. Again, not upset. If you don't mind.
Yeah.
She sent me a text message that was 4 parts this long about how she's a Buddhist and how she recognizes that I would be able to heal myself in life if I were also a Buddhist, and I wouldn't care about petty different things and Buddhism and Buddhism and Buddhism for fucking like like just it was so unnecessarily unrelated to the
Yeah.
conversation that I was just like, now I'm like, I hate you. I just hate you. And I wrote back, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the opportunity. She's like, you should totally come to a thing one time. Oh yeah, absolutely. I would love to do that. And like, I just like now every time I see him, she's always like very polite. He's always very polite, but I'm just like,
Yeah. You're like, you
screw off.
fucking bitch. Wait, have you gotten a new car?
I did, yeah.
What'd you get?
I got a 2024 Jeep 4x4 Wrangler.
Wow, you and your Jeeps. You
Yeah,
had a Jeep last time, right?
I did. I had a Jeep. I liked it, so we got another one.
Did you have a Cherokee or was it also a Wrangler?
It was a Cherokee. I think this is a Grand Cherokee. This is an Aviation, I
Mm,
think. It's nice.
mm.
I like it.
I like Jeeps.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's a good
Yeah.
car. It drives nice. All right, so we're both petty pieces of shit, both of us. Okay.
It's fine.
All right, so let's see. What is the dumbest thing that you're terrified of?
Oof. I would say it's dumb in terms of like because like why am I scared of this? I'm afraid of failing,
Mm-hmm.
which then I think deters me sometimes from doing things that I really want to do, or rather like more so I think rather than failing, I'm more so afraid that like I think sometimes subconsciously believe that like I don't deserve it, even though like I know I do, because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what the fuck have I done to not deserve this in my life? But I think there's somewhere in my brain that's like, what if you don't deserve it and you fail and blah blah blah. And I'm like, why am I scared of that?
That's a great fear, and I totally understand that. But I'm talking like an irrational fear, like
Yeah, but
escalators.
I'm saying it's okay, fine. I'm just trying to get all deep over here.
No, no, you're
Okay,
listen. You're very deep. You're very philosophical. We've already discovered you're no longer soft, sad girl. You're hard, happy girl. We understand that the fourth musician on your Spotify Wrapped was the person whose name we can't talk. You're full of layers, Hannah. There's lots of layers here. I want to talk stupid shit for like no brainer podcast purposes. What's something really dumb that you're fearful of, like balloons, escalators, like elevators, a mouse?
okay. I don't like escalators.
You have to pick something that's not the example.
Okay, well, I'm going off of it. I don't like escalators, but if I really had to pick something, I really don't like touching wet dishes.
You don't like
That
touching it?
scares me.
Why? Why does it scare you?
Oh, ew, it gives me the heebie-jeebies, especially if they're not mine. And then there's like icky things on it. Like I work in a restaurant, and there's times obviously we have to polish silverware, and it'll come out of the dish rack, and sometimes there's still like little food pieces stuck to it, and I'm like, just like all this silverware being wet, and like no other part of my body is wet, and I have to get my hands like slightly wet, like not fully submerged, washing my hands, like getting them slightly wet, and then there's weird food particles. I actually can't deal with it.
Makes sense. I get it. Don't you wear gloves when you're taking the dishes out of the restaurant
No,
stuff? No, it's just
I mean we
fing-
could, but
finger
no.
finger finger on plate.
Yeah.
Ew. All right. Yeah, that's kind of rugged. I my biggest fear are people telling me, strangers I've never met before, telling me their dreams, like not what they dreamt about. Not like last night I had this dream that I was in.
Yeah.
No, no. They're like, I'm going to work with Steven Spielberg and we're going to be in a movie together and it's going to be great. And I respect positivity, but I don't know
Yeah.
you. Why do I need to invest into this? And like, if you do, good for you. I don't want you to fail. I hope you win. I hope all of your dreams come true, but I don't have time for you to talk to me for 2 hours about hope if I don't know
Yeah.
you. It just scares me. So like when people are like, "Oh, you're a writer. What's that like?" Oh, if I answer, they're gonna answer, and they're gonna tell me their stuff. And like I'm like, "Oh, it's hard work. I like it. Oh, I'm a writer. Oh, here we go.
Like,
Here we
okay,
go.
great.
Here we go." And it's again no disrespect to them. They could be one of they could be like Stephen King, but I don't have the capacity to absorb more people's desire.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible person. I get this. All right, let's keep it going. You pick the topic: relationships and human behavior, work and productivity, hypotheticals and thought experiments, or everyday oddities.
Everyday oddities.
Okay, I name something that shouldn't be fun, but really is.
Something that should.
Examples like popping bubble wrap or like peeling an egg. Like, what is something you really enjoy? It shouldn't be fun, but you're like, I love this.
I like plucking people's eyebrows or popping pimples.
You like to pop other people's pimples.
Yeah.
You like to pop your own,
Yeah.
but you just like is it like the sound that it makes? Is that what you like?
No, no, it's just this it's so satisfying. It's like seeing what comes out. You're like, ugh.
Right, but it never grosses you out because you're like, I'm invested in this.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I think if I had like uh something secondary, I don't necessarily like to take part, but like when someone steals like something small from like a grocery store or something, I'm like, oh my God.
So you like rooting for criminals. So in addition to popping pimples, you're a criminal rooter. You're like, go, run, take it, run,
Yeah,
bitch.
yeah. It's exhilarating.
All right.
I think I have a bug bite on my forehead. It's so itchy.
Dude, your bug bite made me want to itch my head.
Sorry.
So you like, okay, so that's great. All right, things I don't think are fun, but are super fun.
Yeah.
Vacuuming.
Okay.
Oh my God. When I can vacuum, and sometimes I'm like, okay, what's under the couch cushions? You thought you could hide, but guess who's here? Daddy suck up
Not
or daddy
today.
suction. Yeah, I love it. I love vacuuming. And also, let's see, what else do I love to do? I do love popping bubble wrap, but it's so fun. It's the weirdest thing. It's probably like one of the most OCD things ever. If there's any trash in my car,
Yeah.
I have to fill an entire empty water bottle with it. Like once I finish the water and the water bottle's in there and I don't get rid of
Yeah.
it, whatever receipt or whatever, it gets stuffed
Yeah.
into the and I have to like pack it. No reason. Shouldn't be fun, but
Okay,
it's
wait.
fun.
Speaking of criminals,
Yeah.
I obviously have not seen or spoken to Per Stumper since like I had to call the cops on him and that whole thing went down.
Hmm.
But I think as I've talked about before, he's like very into graffiti. So, wait, did I tell you that he left flowers on my car? Like this was maybe like a month ago.
No, you
Yeah,
did
well,
not.
he left flowers on my car, and I'm like, obviously, I know it's him, and I'm just like, literally, leave me alone. Anyways, I digress. I'm driving to work the other day, and there's a 7-Eleven maybe like a block away from my house, and then there's
Okay.
like a building right next to the 7-Eleven, which a lot of people tend to graffiti on.
Okay.
So I'm driving to work 2 days ago, and I see his fucking graffiti name big as hell on this building, and I was like, this little bitch, like. I know he's doing this on purpose to get my attention. Granted, he doesn't live that far away from me, so it's like not too far out of reach. But I'm like, literally, why? Why is it? Why are we still trying to get my attention?
That's insane. All right. Speaking of things that you have some slight connection to in the past.
Yeah.
Okay. According to justjared.com, this just in, Matt Rife denies plastic surgery rumors. He blames changed appearance on delayed puberty. Do you feel that he has had any work done?
I mean, I'll say when I met him back in 2018, like he was still hot then. I just think he's bulkier now. Whether or
Okay.
not he had work done to his jawline, I don't know, because he still had a pretty great jawline back in 2018. I think he was just a little bit slimmer. So I don't know. I'm like, is he on steroids? Did he do whatever? I don't know. I don't really know because he's
I have
always
no
been a
idea.
very pretty boy.
He's very handsome. There's no question. I just I saw the post and I was like, hilarious. I wondered like that's just like, can you imagine being so good looking people don't believe you?
Yeah.
Like that's just like, not to say that both of us aren't super good looking and no one believes it, but I'm just saying, just in general, it's like, can you imagine being that hot that people are like, nah,
Not real.
nah, like
It's funny. He somehow got brought up into conversation like not that long ago, and my friends were like, "Wait, like they're like, you know him? Like, why aren't you going after that? And I was like, you guys, please. Like, absolutely not. That man is such a hoe.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it rocking. Let's do a couple more of these. All right, wild card is a category.
Okay.
Let's see, work and productivity, relationships and human behavior, or life and society.
Let's do relationships and human behavior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see, social norms. Give me, okay, everybody talks about, like, I was thinking about this. It was like, everybody talks about, like, dating red flags,
Mm.
but
Hmm.
nobody talks about green flags. Like,
Hmm.
what's a green flag in a relationship? Like, something that, like, that you love. It's like, that's a green flag. I like that.
Um, some like they may not necessarily need to have the same interests as you, but someone who will act interested like in something that you are interested, like when you're telling them about something that you're passionate about, whatever, or I don't know, feeling like safe and understood by somebody.
Okay. Feeling safe and
Um,
understood is a green flag.
yeah, and also someone who will cook for you.
That came out of nowhere. Um, but not just cook for you, but be aware of all of your health restrictions with your matchas and your comb overs and whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a green flag. I will say green flag for me is not baby talk is a green flag. Because, like, I get it when a woman talks to her pet or talks to an animal,
Yeah.
hilarious. It's either like the hottest thing in the world or it's disturbing. Because you're
Yeah.
like, oh, this person's got real maternal instincts and they're great and it's fun. But like when like, have you ever, like, do you have a friend who, and I'm sure you probably have at least one, who like baby talks dudes, and you're just like, holy, just tell everybody about the molestation between your uncle and you right now. Just tell everyone and just get it over with. Like, do you have that friend? Are you that friend? Are you a
No,
baby talker?
no, but I will
Thank
say
you. Oh
Nepo
god.
baby did like that.
I read an article about him, about, like, we'll call him Elvis Presley. We'll just say Elvis Presley came from very famous parents, and he's had a terrible struggle with DUIs, and I read this whole thing, but the article was about from like 3 4 years ago,
Yeah.
and I was just like, leave this fucking kid alone. I mean, he's just like, I initially, when you think about somebody like that, who's obviously born on third base, whose, parents are wealthy, they don't have to worry about money, but they have to identify themselves. I mean, and
Yeah.
figure out who they are, and
Yeah.
figure out, like, you're like, it's kind of cool. I think being the child, I think being the child of a famous person is kind of like the first few weeks of COVID. You're like, hold on a second. I can have ice cream anytime I want. Wait a
Yeah.
second. I don't need to shower. I can do whatever I want in my living room. And then, like, eventually it becomes like week 5 of COVID where you're like, this is terrible. What am I doing?
Yeah. I
Great
I
analogy.
that was a great analogy actually.
Thank you. Also, actually is not a compliment. Actually negates any compliment. It just goes from, like, if someone, like, what's worse? Hey, Hannah, you're really pretty. Or, hey, Hannah, actually, you're pretty. Which is worse?
The last one, the
Of
latter.
course, you just said, I said, that's a great analogy. You go, actually, yeah, it was. What do you mean? What the fuck are you doing? What are you stepping on my compliment? Actually, yeah. Actually, it was. Of course it was.
Sorry, I just had to like let it like sink in for a second. And I was like, oh, that was really good.
Don't actually me. That's the worst. It's like, would you marry me? Actually? Yeah.
Actually, now that you brought it up and I think about it, this sounds great.
Actually, sure. Hey, do you want to go home with me? Actually, yeah. Yeah, I will. For sure. Let's do that. Actually is just a well-packaged surprise.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one last one. Um, work and productivity, hypotheticals and thought experiments, everyday oddities, creative exercise, wild card.
Mm. I liked your enthusiasm with wild cards, so let's go for that.
All right. Let's see. What is the best? Okay, this is a pretty good one. I just actually myself. What is the best excuse you've ever used to get out of something to this day where you're like, I can't believe it worked?
Um, to get out of something. Okay, this is gonna be not having to do with get out of something. I'll say another one, but this is one of those times where I'm like, I cannot believe this worked. This was when I was doing an internship out here in LA, and I had made friends with some of the girls I was working with. And then one of the girls I was working with also had a friend out here who was interning somewhere. Anyways, he was like this very gay guy, and he somehow had met this like sugar daddy online. And this sugar daddy was like a very like high profile interior designer.
Mm-hmm.
So my friend was staying at his office because he had like a little like home office situation.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, one time we decided to go out and we were like, oh, let's go to Catch. Like we were like 21. We know nothing about LA. We think like you can get in anywhere. We're like, oh yeah, let's just go to Catch. Like let's grab a drink there. And so
Sure.
we pull up to Catch, and then there's like a tiny bit of a line, and these girls come walking out, and they're like, you guys won't get in unless you're on the list. Like they just denied us, blah, blah, blah. And so we're standing there like, fuck, like there's a list. Like, how are
Mm-hmm.
we gonna get up in here? And my friend, he's like, trust me, I got this. And we're like, oh my God, what is he about to do? So he walks up to the people and they're like, hi, like, are you here with someone? Like, well, like asking us like if we're on a list, whatever. And he goes, yeah, I'm with so-and-so, and like drops his sugar daddy's name. And they go, right this way, and like lead us to the elevator. And we're like, as soon as the elevator doors close, we're all like, how did that work? It was like on such a whim. We had no idea that like the sugar daddy had that much pull. I don't know. We were like, maybe they were just going along with it because we were so confident about it. But it was just so funny. And we're to this day, I'm like, that was crazy. How did that work?
That's awesome. That's a pretty good
Yeah.
one. Good work.
Yeah.
Mine is always Michelle's sick. I can't.
True.
It always works. It's like I
Yeah.
want to, but she's sick. Can't. Sorry. All right. Well, it was good to see you again, friend. I'm glad that we did this. You were only blurry for half of it.
Really?
Some of it, yeah. I thought you were looking for a new place.
I am. But I need to find a new job because I'm not making enough money.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope you find a new job.
Thanks.
Try it. Can't you try OnlyFans and show pictures of your fingernails or whatever?
Do you know how many times people have brought up OnlyFans to me in the past like 2 weeks? I'm like, you guys, if I didn't have dreams and aspirations, like that would be my job. That would be so easy.
Okay.
I wouldn't care. I would not give a fuck. Like, what do you want to know? What do you want to see? Like here. But I don't want to be known for that.
Respect.
Even if I'm like, I mean, if my friend sent me Feet Finder the other day, she's like, it's anonymous, whatever, just upload your toes. And I'm like, maybe I'll do some research on that. But I just, I don't want to, I don't know. But then again, like, did you just read there's this girl, she's like 20 years old, makes like 4 million a month on OnlyFans.
You know that she's one of 4 million people who do that. Like
Yeah, totally. But
one out of 4 million.
a lot of people think it's like a publicity stunt. They're like, oh, there's no way she's actually making that much. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's working because now hella people are going to her page and looking at her stuff. And now she's definitely making that kind of money.
I mean,
Imagine
listen,
making 4 million a month just like because I look hot.
I mean, to make 4 million a month, you have to be not just hot, you have to be nuh-uh. Like you have to be nuh-uh.
Unbelievable, yeah.
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 All right. Well, we ended on a positively sad note. Good work, us. What do you say at the end?
All right. If you're listening here on YouTube, subscribe now so you can like know when we have a video uploaded, and then you can comment what you want to hear us talk about next. Wherever you get your podcasts, go and stream that shit. Spotify, whatever else there is, just like maybe go listen to it. You can follow us on Instagram. We've got our own Instagram names. We'll see you next time.
This is like Wheel of Fortune, but with different dialects. It's like, what is like? It started off British. It went like Valley Girl, and then it was just like, then it was Kid with a Cold, then it was 13-year-old boy, then it was British again. It was Irish for a second.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
I'm working
All right.
on my act.
Good. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week. And